Your phone likely contains a vast private archive, birthdays, trips, and quiet moments that actually meant something. Hundreds of images sitting in a camera roll that no one else will ever see. Occasionally, you think about posting one, but right before you hit share, something stops you. A quiet resistance arrives, before the thought is even fully formed. You close the app, and the photo stays exactly where it was. These moments were documented, yet they remain invisible to the public. This intentional void, the choice to keep meaningful experiences entirely to yourself, is the core of a specific psychological drive. Cultural labels for this behavior are usually dismissive. Those who don't post are often called antisocial, insecure, or out of touch with the modern world. Modern psychology rejects these labels. Researchers who study digital behavior see the choice to stay unseen as the result of a sophisticated, self-aware set of psychological mechanisms. That hesitation you feel is not a defect. It is evidence of a self-protective system that values the depth of a lived experience over the documentation of that experience. The assumption that withholding photos is antisocial ignores the concept of identity-based privacy. For these individuals, privacy functions as a core pillar of how they define themselves. They view personal images as extensions of the self, anchored to a specific feeling. Posting a photo feels like surrendering something that belonged to them alone. Submitting it to public judgment takes something away from the memory. Withholding these images maintains the structural integrity of the self. Protecting their inner world is a different drive entirely than rejecting society. Another common misdiagnosis is low self-esteem. However, social psychology shows that people who avoid posting often score higher on measures of social sensitivity. This sensitivity is a highly accurate perception of how social environments function. These individuals anticipate the silent evaluations and comparisons that occur the moment a photo enters the public sphere. Once a photo is public, it stops belonging to them. It becomes subject to interpretation and opinion, shifting from a personal reality to a commodity for others to consume. This creates an acute awareness of digital permanence. They see the gap between the truth of a lived second and the narrow, permanent narrative a single image creates when it's taken out of context by an audience. Avoiding the timeline is an active protective measure. It is a clear-eyed understanding of digital reality, refusing to let a captured moment define them. There is also the idea that non-posters are missing out, but psychologists who study the observer effect suggest that the act of sharing actually changes the experience itself. When you anticipate an audience, attention shifts from inhabiting the moment to curating it. You stop feeling the experience, too busy framing it for others. This fundamental tension means experiences are diminished when forced into a performance. People who don't post have often made an instinctive choice about which side of that tension they want to live on. They have decided that a moment fully lived is worth more than a moment beautifully documented. By letting the moment fade without an audience, they preserve its psychological value. Much of this behavior is driven by an internal locus of evaluation. This determines where a person's sense of worth actually comes from. Social media is engineered for external validation. It relies on a feedback loop of likes and comments to confirm that a life is acceptable or a moment was worth something. An internal locus means the value of a beautiful moment doesn't increase just because other people saw it. The experience is validated by the person living it, making an audience unnecessary. Social media platforms profit by commodifying the need for outside approval. By relying on their own assessment of an experience, these individuals reclaim a level of psychological autonomy that the digital economy is specifically designed to bypass. Some people don't post because of a gut instinct they can't quite name, a sense that their inner life and relationships deserve a protected space. Psychology recognizes this intuition as the brain organizing thousands of micro-observations into a protective impulse. It flags certain experiences as sacred, sensing that public consumption would inevitably contaminate them. Keeping a photo unposted is a quiet rebellion against a culture of mandatory exhibitionism. It is a refusal to let the noise of the internet into every corner of your life. Choosing to stay unseen is a deliberate way to keep the most important parts of the human experience whole. It ensures that your life remains private, protected, and entirely your own.